Yeah, I'm intrigued because you said that you guys have you talked about this idea that you have or this thing that you're is that
yes.
I know you guys don't edit, so I don't want to say too much.
Well, we can edit too. I'll also just say welcome to the show, and for anyone who doesn't already, you don't have to shill. Everyone who is smart hosts their podcasts on Transistor.fm, and Justin Jackson made it happen.
There's so many clips I'm gonna grab from this already.
So we'll shill on your behalf. Happy to have you here, and thanks for making a platform that we use.
Oh yeah,
every week.
I love listening to your show. You guys' show here. I often listen to your show on my way home from the office. It's like this is I have different vibes for different times of day. You know, going down to the office is a different vibe. This is a going home. I'm climbing up the hill. I'm listening to you two talk about the business, and I'm a big fan.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you to what extent you're aware of sort of like Kapow, which has now become Tidy, which is like has been our sort of internal time tracking, invoicing, scheduling agreements system, right? Like agency management software of a sort, right?
Yeah, I've heard you talking about it, and I remember some of these names, and then Tidy, you were talking about Tidy in your last episode, I think.
Yeah, so Tidy's, we just rebranded Kapow to Tidy because Kapow, we felt like, didn't say anything about what the app was. Yeah.
I just sent you the URL if you want to glance at it.
Okay. Let me take a look here.
Oh yeah,
Tidy up.
Some live landing page feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I like Tidy as a brand name. I think that is, having something that's kind of descriptive is nice. You're bringing everything in instead of juggling multiple tools, you're just going to do everything in one tool. This is similar to the positioning that Basecamp has. It has that one screen where it has like, here's all of the things, and it's like you could use all of this and manage all this, Slack and everything else, or you could manage this. Right. And that's one of the things that they use as a lever to get people to sign up.
Which I think is like a very like SMB desire, right? Like enterprise actually has no interest in that proposition, right?
Yes.
But like small business owners are like, oh dude, I'm paying for so many things. I would love to just pay for one of them.
Yeah.
Like we feel that all the time. You know?
Here's the other key that I think might be, if you want to get right into it.
Please do.
I think the big pull for a lot of people signing up for Basecamp is they are buying into the Basecamp way, the Basecamp method, or in a less charitable way, the Basecamp cult. And I felt this too. You know, sometimes I'm just like, man, I wonder if our team would operate better if we just did things the Basecamp way. Like you're really signing up for a philosophy and a system that is opinionated, and it's all through the product. And maybe not everyone can pull that off, but I think there's something about that, especially in this like undifferentiated vibe coded apps marketplace, where there's going to be tons of things like this, like Tidy, where it's like, hey, pull everything together in one place. We've been an agency. Like my guess is there's other agencies doing this at the same time.
I'm sure this has been built 1,000 times. Yes.
Yeah. And what differentiates it, I think, is you're giving people more than the software, which is you're giving them hope. It's like, give me a system that's been battle tested. And when I'm using your software, I'm not just using your UI or your way of doing things. I am using your way of doing things. That's what I'm signing up for. You've got a system, a methodology, a philosophy that seems to be better than what I'm doing right now. And when I sign up for Basecamp, I'm not just signing up for this project management software that's generic. I'm signing up for a different way of doing things, a different way of managing projects.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's like something like Tidy is like very opinionated, I would say. Like there are just like built-in assumptions about how you're going to run your business that you could work around them, I guess, if you wanted to. But, like we assume that you're selling hours. And like we don't have like you could make an invoice that just had like a bespoke line item for like a project thing or whatever, but like everything's sort of built around the assumption that you're going to sell hours and that you're going to pay people by the hour and you're going to get paid by the hour.
And that those are downstream of assignments of like, hey, worker, you ought to do this week, you know, and then the hours are downstream of that.
Yeah. The nice thing about it is it can be very differentiating. So like when I heard what you just said, part of me, it's like you're already putting a stake in the sand when it comes to like, there's like value-based billing and outcome-based billing. And you could just say, you know what, we all know that's bullshit. Or we all know that most of us are charging for hours. We are unrepentant about the fact that we're charging for hours. Here's the best way to charge for hours in this environment, right?
And like when you eventually admit to yourself that you are selling hours,
yes,
come on back to TV.
That's right. And even like it gives you so much opportunity for content that actually gets distribution. So like
because you can have a little bit of a controversial take.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say, the mistaken folly of outcome-based billing, and then you just write a post about here's the history of it, here's what kind of was driving it, but in actual practice, it turns out that that's just kind of silly to base your quotes and your billing on that, and you're actually losing a lot of business, and it just kind of writes itself, and it would do well on YouTube as well. And right now, I don't know if you guys have paid attention of what's going on in the marketing world, but for Transistor, trial signups that we're getting from LLMs has increased dramatically. Like it was like maybe 10, 15% a year ago. I would peg it now at like at least 50%, maybe more.
That's crazy.
And I think a lot of the lift we've had is coming from LLMs. If you look at the ranking factors right now for what they can tell is getting sourced by different LLMs, it is Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the review sites, Facebook groups, and the advantage of being kind of like every day I basically kind of show up and just push the ball forward in these different channels for years has now translated to the fact that we get consistently recommended in these non-deterministic models. But most of the time we're getting recommended in the top 3 or the top 5 or whatever.
Super interesting.
Especially what's interesting about the LLM stuff is that think about the kind of queries that people would be asking about now. It's like, you might ask Google this, but now in ChatGPT or Claude, it makes so much more sense. Like, hey, I've been trying to run this agency for 3 years. I really bought into this outcome-based billing model, but none of my clients want to use it. Is there anything out there that can help me? And it's going to go out and look for what are all of the opinionated takes about outcome-based billing.
Right.
And if you've published something under that brand, but also a personal brand, so like founders showing up and actually doing a lot of this work themselves under their personal accounts is another kind of hack. If you've shown up, so if Daniel writes that blog post and he publishes it under his own name, he publishes it on Twitter, he publishes it on LinkedIn, he submits it to Hacker News, he submits it in some conversations tactfully, like on Reddit, it's going to start ranking because what the search engines like Google and Bing are looking for, but also what the LLMs are looking for is this a real entity? Like, does it have a big footprint across the web? And then part of that is, does it have a founder that's public, Because a sketchy entity is like something that just has a website and they're just publishing blog posts and there's no founders, no about page, no people connected with it. And increasingly, Google especially is looking at like entities that have a very narrow footprint and are saying, this doesn't seem that trustworthy. Like it seems fake. But if you have a profile both as a brand and as a team and as individuals across the web that reference each other and bring up topics that might show up when someone's talking to like what you might ask a ChatGPT for podcast hosting is very different than what you might ask Google. Like in the past, it was like best podcast hosting, but now people are like, hey, I really don't like what Spotify's doing, and I really want a host that's independent, allows me to have multiple shows, and maybe is somewhat Canadian. Well, the
vaguely Canadian, please.
Don't you put keywords in our transcripts?
The answer, my friends, is transistor.fm. And I mean, podcasts are a big part of this too. So, yeah, I think when launching a new brand right now is going to get a lot more competitive. Mm-hmm. And what I would be thinking about is this footprint idea. Like, how can we have a wide footprint across the web that makes Tidy look like a real product with real reviews on Trustpilot and G2 and all that, with real founders, real team members, and then anything that differentiates it, you're just frequently talking about on podcasts and on YouTube and on blog posts and etc. all that. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is you guys already have the podcast, and so you can talk about it here, like what makes Tidy unique, and then you can bring that over, publish a blog post on it, and then you've got like enough of the assets like YouTube video, audio podcast with transcript, blog post, and now you can start getting it across the web, Hacker News, Reddit, LinkedIn, etc. And that's what kind of builds reputation both for LLMs and Google and Bing.
Yeah. That's super interesting and informative. It is really interesting also just that the LLMs are depending on these like sources of trust in order to figure out like what is not vibe coded.
Yes.
It's fascinating.
But they're like, I just did an interview with Lars Lofgren, who's a frequent speaker at MicroConf, widely known as a very good marketer, and also has dipped into kind of the gray hat, black hat world of SEO. And one thing he's saying right now is that this is kind of like the Wild West of Google when it first started, and you could rank for keywords by just doing this, and this. The LLMs are kind of like that right now because they're just like sucking up data, and now there's a recency bias. And so his joke is that if you wanted to start ranking in LLM queries, which are difficult to track because they're so non-deterministic, he said, basically, I would start posting on Facebook groups, and I would start my own Facebook group because now a lot of them are sucking in Facebook groups, Reddit for sure, and then I would get a bunch of reviews on Trustpilot and G2, and just set up my brand everywhere else. He's like, it's surprising how fast these LLMs pick up this stuff. Like, it is super quick. And there's a lawsuit going on right now where I can't remember if it was Reddit that was suing, but basically what they figured out is they were wondering, they had some honeypots out there to be like, we are not allowing any of the LLMs to scrape this content on Reddit. But what Claude or somebody was doing was scraping the homepage of Google, looking for these things that getting sourced from Reddit, and then just ingesting that.
Yeah, that's
so
funny.
They are hungry monsters. But I think the advantage for new products right now is there is this kind of time, while it's the Wild West, things haven't settled down, to start building this footprint and getting some of this traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen several people making like Instagram reels and stuff about gaming this right now, where they were just like, and I can't. It's hard to tell how real anything is. But hearing you say that makes me wonder if they're a lot more real than I thought they were initially. But there was a guy talking about like just setting up his web website in a way that was like he wrote like a fake book called like the best SEO book or something, you know, and like and quickly he's like, this ranks horribly in page ranks, but you can like get Gemini to say that this is the best book about SEO, you know.
Yes, yeah. I think for the ethics driven founder, really what you're doing is you're just expanding your scope of what you might have done before. So before, maybe you just wanted to have a really good website where you're ranking for keywords with blog posts. That playbook is done. Like, you still want to do that, but you just need to widen your scope.
Yeah.
And the reason it's helpful for customers is the reason Google cares about this, like, what is the reputation of this brand and these founders, is they're trying to figure out if this is a scam, if this is a legit product, etc. And so, yes, there are people that are buying fake Trustpilot reviews and all those things. I wouldn't recommend any of that. I would just say be kind of consistently diligent at doing this stuff. So,
like at putting the real things out there.
Yeah.
Putting the real things out there, and just you can add it into your, for example, your onboarding emails. So you give them an onboarding email, welcome to the product, thanks, etc. 2 weeks later, if they have signed up for a paid plan, just say, thanks so much for signing up for paid plan. We're a small independent team. One of the big ways other people find us is reviews on Trustpilot. If you could leave us an honest review right now, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of having this new hat on where you're just looking for opportunities and always driving this forward. Like, hey, we should be getting a couple new reviews every month. And then by the end of 12 months, you know, you've got 10 to 20 reviews on Trustpilot. We should have somebody participating on Reddit. We should have somebody participating in Hacker News. We should have somebody, and again, on my team, no one else wants to do this except for me, so it's me. Somebody on LinkedIn, just building that profile. And the other thing that's challenging is I've noticed that these models and search engines are so simplistic, they don't want to encompass the entirety of what makes me an individual. So I have other interests other than podcasting, and I want to talk about other things, but it is to my benefit to be known as a podcasting person on LinkedIn. Anytime I talk about anything else on LinkedIn, it doesn't do well, first of all, but second of all, I just notice I'm not getting the same kind of engagement and all that other stuff. So the other challenge, I think, for founders, especially founders that like to do a lot of things, is if I look up John Drexler, am I going to see Game Guy or am I going to see Tidy Guy?
Right.
You know,
right.
and where do you want to build the reputation the most? There's a few questions like that. You might not all need to be that person, but I think in the new world, unless you're going to spend a lot of money on paid acquisition, you need to have somebody on your team that's an influencer.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it also, I don't know if this checks out, but I have been noticing just what's been happening naturally is like the channel itself has determined what guy I am. That like on Instagram, I am Game Guy.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, nobody cares about that at all. And so like I've kind of like bifurcated, right? That's not the right, multi, whatever.
Yeah.
I've split my personality based on the platform in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I've done something similar. Yeah. And I like my username on Reddit forever was Spanky Mustard. And I just made the decision this year to start a new Reddit account, get rid of this account that I've had forever. That's really the perfect Reddit name. I think it's hilarious. But I started getting referenced in the podcast industry trades as Justin, who is Spanky Mustard on Reddit.
That's so funny.
So now I'm the Justin J on
that's really funny.
on Reddit.
Well, I do think it makes a lot of sense for Daniel too. I mean, I'm partly doing this because I don't want to go. I mean, I hang out on LinkedIn. I'll post on LinkedIn, but like,
Yeah, you got LinkedIn. Dog.
I hate
I'll go
being
to
on
Reddit.
Reddit. And Daniel already is a Facebook sicko, so he's hanging out there. So,
I'm in the Facebook groups,
But
not
I
the
think-
business ones,
I
just
also
the
think
like
it-
local community ones arguing about trash.
yeah. I think it does make sense though for this to be a big part of what you do, because you have also, before this, you freelanced for so long, and so many of the opinions that are in there are actually opinions that I've inherited from you, you know? So it's like, it actually does, I think it does make a lot of sense for you to be kind of the,
I mean,
John the Baptist of this thing.
I will say this also, like I have like not used Instagram in years, really, in like a creative way, only in a like a consumptive way. So I might just start like banging out some like annoying agency owner reels that, what's that guy, Jamie something. He's the like freelancing reels guy.
Yeah.
And he's like got it on lock. And it's all like very like basic like services business stuff, like, hey, I signed this contract, but I actually don't have resources to do it. What should I do? They're like, easy. Raise your prices, call in a subcontract. You know, whatever. Yeah. Like that's like his whole bit, you know? But he's like, you know, he's selling a course, he's doing all this stuff, whatever. But like, I do feel like there is like a lane on like TikTok and Instagram for like people doing agency content. So maybe I should just go do some like basic agency content, and then every once in a while be like, hey, like, well, that's why we built a feature in Tidy that like does that, you know?
Yeah. And I would also hire those people. Like there's a lot of those influencer people that are happy to sign partnership deals, to do integrations is what they call them. Like I've tried multiple times to get more traction on YouTube, for example, in the podcasting space. And I had a few things that did well, but there's just a few people that are just killing it on that.
Yeah.
And you can sign deals with them to become a partner, and sometimes finding somebody who is gaining
what's
traction.
The deal? What's the shape of that deal?
It could be different things. So we've done sponsored videos. We've done. We've also just had them sponsored a video, but had them just do an honest review of all the platforms. So this video is sponsored by Transistor, but I'm just doing an honest review of all the platforms, and they'll review them all. There is sometimes, there's a broad umbrella of these things called under the umbrella of UGC, user generated content. And so there's UGC people that do this full time, where they will just make videos on different topics, either for your channel or for their own channel, or a mix of both. But the key I found is to be searching YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and whatever is kind of organically getting traction already, I've been trying to reach out to those creators and saying, hey, wondering if we can do some sort of deal. It could be a sponsored video. It could be you just make us a video for our social media accounts every month. It could be a mix of both. And we've had some good success with that. Of all the kind of sponsored content we've done, and I've sponsored some folks that have big channels and all that stuff. The best performing, like where we actually get customers in the door that say, oh yeah, I saw you on this creator's YouTube. Just looking for what's already organically getting traction and then sponsoring that person, as opposed to sponsoring, a newsletter that comes knocking on your door, or even like a popular YouTuber and they do an ad for you in the middle of their video. It's better, I think, to just find the folks that are already getting traction and partner with them.
When I was experimenting with, I did a little experiment last year with ads for my game, partly just because I was like, I've never really like learned this. I would love to just like learn everything there is to learn and give it a shot.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was so interesting to learn was that a lot of people were saying the most successful ads right now are, you do that, but then you have whatever is the agreement. Part of the agreement is like we own this video afterwards, and we can we can reuse it in ads. And so they just have an ad that's like the 20-second splashy version of influencer saying, "Isn't Transistor so cool?" That those are frequently now the best performing ads.
Yeah, and like I've had sponsored videos that were $5,000 that did not perform very well, and I've had sponsored videos where the creator's rate was $500 video that did a lot better. So there's a mix of what people are charging out there, and the best, I think, is to find somebody that seems like kind of early on, but they're getting traction, sponsor a few pieces of their content, and if it's working, just say, hey, we're going to do this every month. Like, what's your retainer? And they get some certainty around it, right? And there can be also,
and you can also
add
lock
an
in
affiliate.
A price on the way up.
That's right. You lock in the price.
Yeah.
That's right. But for the certainty, they'll be loyal to you, especially if you found them early on. Like those kind of creators are looking for partners.
Yeah. I was going to ask, where does Product Hunt fit into this nowadays?
Yeah, I think you still want to launch everywhere.
Yeah.
A launch is still worth doing for a couple reasons. One, building up anticipation is actually your most potent phase of marketing because you're building up hype for this thing that is not yet realized, right? And so if people are interested in your journey, if people are just looking for a solution right now, but they can't get it yet, you can get them on a waiting list. You can keep updating them on your progress. You can tell the story behind it. You can be expanding your footprint before you've officially launched. And then when you do a launch, you have this kind of waiting list, whether it's 20 people, 50 people, or 1,000 people who are kind of on your side, who have been following the journey and are waiting for you to do the thing. And then the Product Hunt launch becomes the atom unit of the launch. It's like, is it really important? No. Like, is it going to drive tons and tons of signups? No. But it becomes this official milestone, and it just also helps to have all of the people who've been following the journey and or beta testing and or early access users show up in one place, help you celebrate the official launch. There's a big splash, which tends to have ripple effects over the internet that are sometimes hard to track. So, what might happen is you have an early access user that's just been a big fan. They love using it. You finally, you're dripping out updates to them. Gets to Product Hunt launch day. They show up and give you a nice testimonial and review. But then they also are like, man, I'm going to help these guys out. I'm going to share this on Twitter. And so now, because you have this atomic unit of a Product Hunt launch, in the same way that having the atomic unit of a Kickstarter launch just gives it some heft. A Kickstarter launch has this, it's a vessel, it's a pre-existing container in society's brain. And so it's like, oh, John's doing a Kickstarter launch. I should support that. I should tell people about that. I should spread the news. I should leave a nice comment. So I think it's still worth doing. A lot of people say don't do it, but I mean, I would launch on Indie Hackers. I would launch everywhere. I would find all of the things and make a big deal about it. Partner with the people on the waiting list and early access users to say, hey, we need your help. They want to be a part of it. And then you can also use all of that content for testimonials. So I'll grab comments from Product Hunt, comments from Trustpilot, etc., put them on our homepage. So I would absolutely do it. Transistor, John and I started working together January 2018. We opened up early access probably March 2018, and then we officially launched the first kind of version on Product Hunt and everywhere else August 2nd, 2018. So that whole time, we were just building up a waiting list, generating anticipation, like, oh, there's something new coming. There's something new coming from John and Justin. There's something new coming to the podcasting space. They've got some opinions. We were sharing those. I was appearing on podcasts. And it's potent because it's just like anticipating anything, right? Like once you see the new Batman movie, it's kind of like a letdown. But the build up to it is probably even more fun. Like, oh, I can't believe, like if Jim Henson did another Ninja Turtles movie, the anticipation phase for me would be all of it. I'd be talking about it. I'd be like signing up for all the trailers and all the drops and everything. Like that's the fun part. And then, if I get disappointed once I see the movie, whatever, but the anticipation phase is so important.
Yeah, makes sense.
We did build a little bit of a list early. I don't know how big that actually was, our like pre-launch Kapow list.
Yeah, we didn't. I don't know that we ever really like properly pushed it out there, so I don't think it's much. Because it was just an application that you couldn't register in for like years, basically.
Yeah.
And we never really pushed it out there. And now it's a thing that it is like you can pay us and use it right now.
Do you have people using it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have everybody we work with a lot of freelancers, and so we had a deal with them, which was just like, if you're a freelancer with us, you get grandfathered in, and you can just like invoice us through the app. So like they're using it, and then we have a paying user, which is nice, and he immediately hit us with a bunch of complicated problems, which is great.
You have one paying user right now?
Yeah, yeah. Do you do? When you say launch everywhere and launch on all these different platforms, are you doing that all on one day, or are you like metering those out?
Mostly one day.
Yeah.
It can be that week. Like, I think on the Product Hunt launch day, it was like, okay, so we scheduled the Product Hunt launch. Then I scheduled the email to tell everyone that, when it was happening. I think you can even like get people to leave comments and stuff, so there's already some discussion before it officially launches. And then I think I also posted on it on Indie Hackers about it. And then throughout the rest of that week I started just spreading the word again, like, oh, hey, Transistor's officially launched. We had a great launch yesterday. Here's what people are saying. Here's the reviews, all those kinds of things. So you can have a launch week, I think.
Yeah, makes sense.
The one thing on this website is missing right now. There's a few things. You need some human faces on here for sure. The nothing in all my experience with marketing and everything, nothing converts better than having a human face on the right side of the screen. I've tested it multiple times. I've done, there's been large scale A/B tests done on it. Human faces just convert better.
You think like in the hero above the fold type of
like if you look
thing?
If you look at Transistor's homepage, this is one of our customers, and before this, at certain points, we had like a text only hero, kind of like you have. It converts way better. I just think, especially for a new product, and right now everybody's looking for human, and so having a human in your hero, I think, can help a lot. It might not be necessary, but for sure having human, like when I scroll down, run your agency without chaos, I don't want to see this next thing, this video thing. Actually, I didn't even know that was a video. What I want to see is your team. Like our team runs on Tidy, and have human faces, whatever it is, 4 or 5, 6 of you, or this team runs on Tidy and it's a group of people. It's just seeing a real team, and people can start to picture themselves like, oh yeah, that kind of looks like my team. There's something so powerful about that. And then as you scroll down the page, you should also see human faces next to testimonials. And then I would even have at the bottom of the homepage another section that's something like, who is this? Like, who's running this thing? and have your guys' faces there, like, hey, we're, Dan and John.
We're Thunk, we do this, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's an opportunity too to maybe even in the first section to I mean, not in a long-winded way, but to tell the story a little bit, just to say, this is a team who runs on this thing because we've run a successful agency for the last few years, and these are all like problems that we experienced firsthand.
Yes. Yeah. Think about what people's apprehensions are right now. I've never heard of this tidy thing. What is this? Is this real? Is this some 13-year-old that vibe coded this on Lovable? Is this some scam? The big one for me now is like I get pitches all the time now from new products. And in my head, I'm like, you're not going to be around in 3 months.
Right.
So,
is there going to be support?
That's right. So the web page is your opportunity to tell the story and get people to trust you. Hey, we're Thunk. We've been around this long. Daniel's been doing this kind of work for this long. John's been doing this kind of work for this long. We are veterans. We are experts. You can trust us. We've been around for a while. Here's our team. This is what they look like. Or here's a team that uses Tidy. This is what they look like. And then in addition to having that on the homepage, also having an about page where, and we do this on the Transistor about page too. If you go to transistor.fm/about, we have a picture of the team. And, we are 6 people. John, Justin, Helen, Jason, Josh, Michael. That's the Transistor story so far. And then there's more photos from our history. Just helping people connect with us as humans, helping people trust us. And people have really responded to that. And I think even more so now that it's like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this just someone's Claude bot running this thing? That putting some real human faces on there, and even like some older photographs. Like I have some older photographs of John and I when we first met and stuff. It's just like, these look authentic. These look legit. This looks like a real company, real people. I like them. I trust them. And that's one of the questions people are asking. Do I like these people? Do I trust them? Are they going to be around for a while? Who are they? And we can answer those questions.
And we do have embarrassing pictures of us together when we were 18. So
from 18 to now.
That's what and you might want to play around with it. Like maybe the 18-year-old pictures aren't the right ones, but having something authentic, I think. Totally. That people resonate with and go, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Like, I can trust these guys.
What I do think, like the story there is solid. Like it is a story that makes sense and addresses that exact thing, which is just like.
And I'm thinking even about like all of the feature copy that we have. Like I'm kind of thinking about like reworking all of that feature copy to be like experience based, right? Where it's like, hey, we've been screwed out of 50 grand before, and that's why we designed our billing system in such a way that it's really hard to get screwed out of 50 grand.
Yeah.
Like
that kind of content kills it right now.
Yeah.
Especially again, because people are looking for authentic human voices. So the more authentic you can be, the more human you can be, the more people will trust you. It's why people, for a while, everyone was typing Google searches that were like best stereo reviews space Reddit, right? Because they want the real human stuff. And everything's been overrun. Everyone, the content everybody's looking at, the company stuff people are looking at, the products. I think everyone's like, is this fake? Is this AI? Is this? So you have an opportunity to pierce through that noise and be authentic.
John, we got to write a blog post about all the times we've gotten screwed out of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
it's funny because
what I learned getting screwed out of 50 grand twice.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that it's funny when you were talking about like being super opinionated and like showing like, hey, we do this in a different way and it's a better way to do it. Part of it is like we recently have like restructured a bunch of things where we basically have turned this thing into like almost a zero risk agency. Like we refuse to take financial risk on our clients. And so like we get paid up front for things now. And we just have restructured things in a way that it's like, if you're unwilling to play ball on that, that's fine. We're not willing to take financial risk on you. And so it's like the zero risk agency is like, there's a bunch of concepts in there that are like things that we've had to come to, through our mistakes.
I would even experiment with that as a headline for the app. Build a zero-risk agency. There's something about it where you can kind of own that space, you know?
And that is like why we bill hours too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like everything, all of our opinions are based on like we're extremely conservative and like don't like to get ahead of our skis.
Well, and also like it relates to this whole thing that I always have, which is that project-based billing is a bet that either you or the client is going to lose. And so it's like kicking off a relationship with this super fraught bet, and someone's going to lose the bet.
Yeah. And to me, that almost gets more to the main thing. Like the closer you can get to the vein of what's the main thing. So like everyone's had that situation where you go to get blood and they just kind of miss the vein. It's like, it's not really producing, and they got to poke it again. You want to poke it right in the vein of like, what's the main thing that's driving agencies to want to buy another piece of software. And run your agency without the chaos is just a little too, it's not quite there. It's getting closer to the vein, but build a zero risk agency, or even like stop getting screwed, like all these kind of feelings that's why people go and look for software. Is at some point they're going like, fuck it, today's the day. I've had it. Like today's the day I'm going to start the podcast. I'm going to figure out how the hell you do it, right? Like that's what happens. That's how people make decisions.
And we could even like lean on the like 80% of agency owners quit in the first 3 years. Like, all like these stats exist, right?
Yes.
We could like tell that story. Like
get into the main vein. And I would experiment with a headline that's like build a zero risk agency, because I think that's also just a term you could own. SparkToro is a marketing app that's doing something similar. They're trying to own the term zero-click marketing, which is all around this idea that you don't get clicks from Twitter and Google and all this other stuff anymore. So you need a new approach to marketing that's zero-click marketing. And it's basically about building a reputation in all these places. You might not be getting the clicks from Google, but your presence in Google, the way you show up there, helps you build a reputation. I think you guys could own this zero-risk agency piece, and that would make me sign up, right? Like, run your agency without chaos, sure. Like, I know, like, that could be any app, but build a zero-risk agency? Tell me more. What does that mean, you know? And then each feature becomes that thing. So, your team logs hours. You see everything. I wouldn't even put that at the top.
No, that's an opportunity to just talk about hourly billing. But I would
lead with this idea of like, we've all been there. We've lost big contracts. We haven't gotten paid. Now, here's how this product and our methodology and philosophy, here's how you win with us. Software plus philosophy, methodology is kind of like the golden, and you can do it in project management, right? You can actually be opinionated and put a stake in the sand. And it's better for you because if people want a generic tool, they're going to go to Notion. But you're saying, no, this isn't a generic tool. This is built around real experience, and it solves for these problems that actually create an emotional response. Yeah. You guys have way more of an opportunity to tap into the real emotions that agency owners are facing right now. And I mean, goddamn, everybody's scared right now. This is another reason I think there's so much opportunity right now. Like my friend Brian Castle has built a whole membership and YouTube presence. And he, like, when he told me he was launching a YouTube channel, I was like, no way, dude. He's not very charismatic. And it's just this time. He speaks to older developers that are freaked out about AI. They're so highly motivated to look for answers like, help me understand Claude code in a way that's not from these 20-year-old thread boys on Twitter. Like, I want a real mature adult to tell me what to do here. And agency owners are absolutely feeling the same thing.
Right.
Even if, a lot of people, you said at Laracon, a lot of people were like, agencies were like, yeah, things are okay. In the back of their mind, everybody's like,
Yeah.
things are okay, but what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And you've got a really good lane there to speak to agency owners and say, listen, we understand. We know it's scary right now. And it was scary before. It was hard enough before. You were losing money on contracts. You had people overbilling. You had all these problems. Well, we've built software that solves the old problems, and we're also going to be here with you when you face the new stuff. And that might be stuff in the product, but it's also going to be the way you show up in blog posts and YouTube videos and everything else, just being like, hey, we get it. And the best way to weather the storm is to have great fundamentals. How do you have great fundamentals? You build a zero risk agency. I'm going to show you how you do it. So the first thing you're going to need is Tidy. Tidy helps you do this and this and this. All right, sign up. Let's get going. And you create this thing that people aspirationally want, because they're like, yeah, like we're doing everything in Notion right now, but it doesn't give us all this. It doesn't give us this solution,
Yeah. It's so crazy how quickly this is the thing that's like a little bit magical about talking to people who actually understand marketing, because I'm like so fundamentally stupid about marketing that like as soon as you like zero in on this like zero risk agency thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like so stupidly obvious that like I can't believe I didn't like zero in on that already.
Yeah.
But like I would have looked at this landing page for 1,000 years and not found that like very clear message at the center of it,
Yeah, and that might not be what ends up working, but it's going to be something like that.
No, but it is like so genuinely connected to how we operate, and like if I were to actually tell the story of Thunk and like why it works and how John and I both think about it, it's like very like, well,
yeah.
I sure don't want to like bet super heavily on everything going perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny I have such a hard time even taking my own advice with, because like when building stuff, we're constantly talking about what problem are we solving, but then it's so easy because in the same way, I have not worked. It's one of the big holes in my experience and skills is that I have not worked with a great marketer, and I am not naturally good at it.
Yeah.
And so then I turn around and someone goes, well, what did you build? I'm like, well, here, let me describe what it does. And it's like, no. Keep talking about the problem. Like, this thing was designed in response to 5 big, scary problems. Talk about those 5 big, scary problems.
Yeah, absolutely. What moves the needle for you, like what gets you to click on a Hacker News article is the same vein that you want to get with your landing page. Like, it's something to grab people, something that's emotional, something. I mean, you could even have that as your headline. Build a zero risk agency. But instead of see all the features, you could just say, learn more about building a zero risk agency. And then that's just your manifesto. And then you want a tool that's built for this framework. Like, have you bought in? Have I sold you on the vision? Have I sold you on the dream? Okay, well, Tidy's the thing that helps you do it, right? You've bought into the philosophy. Now here's the tool that helps you implement that philosophy. And I think it has the potential to be great, especially right now, because
and like,
the risks are so high for agencies right now.
Yeah. And even just as like Thunk positioning, I think it's pretty strong, right? I do think that like one of our positions as Thunk is just like we like actually like think very carefully about problems,
Yep.
Obviously that means that we think a lot about our problems, right? Like, and our problems are like the most considered problems you can imagine because we're just over here considering them all the time. Of course that's the thing that like led us to build the software. Yeah. But also I do think that there's just as an agency, there's some credibility and like, hey, like these guys like think very carefully about their own systems, their own problems, their own sort of approach to how they want to work. And obviously they're going to give that same sort of like care and attention to our problems as their clients, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And the other encouragement for you is that developers can absolutely learn marketing skills. Like Adam Wathan is in many ways a better marketer than me. And that's one reason he killed it with Tailwind. You can learn these skills. It's absolutely within your reach to learn them. And, I'd be happy to come back whenever you want. I'll be on time next time to like just help you iterate on this, because a lot of it is just keeping it front and center enough that you're thinking about it. And then you just have to put something into practice every day. It's just like, okay, today I'm going to write the manifesto for zero risk marketing, and we're going to put it on the Tidy website, and we're going to link to it above the fold, and we're just going to see what happens. And maybe I'll take a risk and get somebody to submit it to Hacker News, and maybe I'll take a risk and message 3 friends and say, I just submitted this thing to Hacker News/newest. Can you go there and give me a little boost? Like, just start putting some things in place.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got to run because
No, thank you.
Sounds great.
This is great.
Daniel,
Anytime.
earlier when you said care and attention, I thought you said Karen attention, and I was like, I don't know if that's the kind of attention that we actually want on this. Justin, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, guys. I'll leave my window open here so it uploads.
I can't wait to copy the transcript and make to-dos.
All right. Seriously, message me anytime about any of this
Great.
stuff.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah,
Thanks,
bye.
buddy. It's so much good stuff to say, dude.
There's a lot. I'm going to take the entire transcript, copy it straight into Claude, and say, I need to-dos.
He's
good.
He has such like clarity of thinking about it. It's crazy.
These Canadians, man. It's that glacier water.